Hello, my name is Adriana Martinez. I'm a student of Degree in English as a Foreign Language, and this video is for my course Qualitative and Quantitative Research. In this opportunity, I'm going to be analyzing an article and determining if it has a qualitative research or not. The article that I'm going to analyze through this video is called The Techniques in Teaching Listening Skill, and it was written by Idaya Noor, as you can see here. The article shows a research made in an Islamic school to determine which are the strategies and techniques used by English teachers for the development and improvement of listening skill. My purpose is to determine the qualitative methodology used in this research. To start, I want to point out the objective of the research. In the article, the researcher is focused on exploring and understanding an educational phenomenon, which in this case is what are the most effective techniques to teach listening skill for language learners. We can find that in this part of the article, in page 42, they say, based on the problem stated, the purpose are first to investigate some kinds of techniques applied by the English teacher to improve a student's ability in English listening, and second, to better understand the student's ability towards the materials given in English listening class. That aspect is the first characteristic that shows this research is based on a qualitative methodology, because, as we remember, qualitative research is focused on investigate issues or phenomena, not measure variables like quantitative research. So, starting for that, we can say that it's a qualitative research, but it's not the only aspect that shows this. Another elements that illustrate the type of methodology used in our research are the type of data that has been collected, the instruments used, and the way the data is analyzed. We have to remember that in a qualitative methodology, researchers use data based on participants' perspectives, observing the way the problem is perceived by the individuals or group involved. Therefore, qualitative research uses open-ended questions that allow participants to express their points of view, and the researcher make interpretations of the meaning of the data. This is why the data is collected through interview questions, case studies, and observation. In this article, we can find that elements. First of all, the article addresses the population that is being researched. In this case, is an English teacher and 227 students of the 10th grade students at Man 3 Barnhart Mason. This population was reduced to 20%, so we finally have 48 students and a teacher. And then they describe their principal characteristics such as class, sex, and number through this chart. Then the article expresses the techniques used for data collection, which are observation, interview, and documentary. How we can find this? Well, the article says, I quote, to obtain the data, it is used the techniques of data collection. The data were collected by observation deeply. The writer came to the school and directly observed the condition of teachers, administration staff, students, and school facilities. That's about observation. But we also mention the writer observed in classroom or language laboratory directly to get some information about some techniques in teaching skills. And then about interview, the writer mentioned, I quote, the writer interviewed directly with some related persons, such as headmaster, English teacher, students, and administration staff, to obtain data related to the primary or secondary data. And finally, about documentary, the article says, I quote, to look for all writing reports related to this study, it was used documentation to support the other techniques by collecting the data about the students' score in listening class. So those are exactly the principal qualitative techniques of data collection that we know. However, there's more aspects about that help us to determine this is a qualitative data research. Like, how was this data analyzed? That's another method that determines this article uses a qualitative method. The article expressed the data was analyzed through a descriptive analysis and conclude through an inductive method. In this part, the article says, I quote, after the data have been collected and interpreted, the writer analyzed it by using descriptive quantitative analysis. In this step, the writer connected all of the data in written form so that it will show some techniques in teaching listening class and a student's ability in listening class. Afterward, the conclusion was drawn in using inductive method from a simple one to general. That's how a qualitative analyze the information. In a qualitative research, data is analyzed inductively by boiling some particulars to general terms, describing the aspects found about a phenomenon. So exactly as the writer said in the article, we can find here the findings and discussions, kinds of techniques the English teacher applied in the listening class, and then the article shows every single technique that they found, such as information transfer, paraphrasing and translating, answering questions, summarizing, filling in blanks, and answering to show comprehension of message. And then the article describes every single technique with all the data that been found about these techniques. First, we can find this chart with the students' scores for every single technique to determine if it's good or not. Then is a property made for each technique, and finally the description for each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and all the descriptions and findings about each technique, all the 6 techniques that were found in the research. And finally, they wrote a conclusion expressing the important elements that they found in the research. Finally, I want to mention the type of approaches used in the article and how they are connected to a qualitative method. The article analyzes what are the teaching techniques for listening skill and how they work in the students, using information from practical field and analyzing the population of teachers and students in a social way, such as observation, documentary, interviews, and etc. This shows that the article research is based on a constructive worldview with an ethnographic design due to the fact that the researchers seeks to establish the techniques used and the meaning from the views of participants. And if we remember, these are exactly the basic approaches for a qualitative study. I hope you can understand me, and thanks so much for watching this video. Bye.